Welcome, my dear listeners. Stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Bold and the Beautiful. Shocking twist. Brooke dumps Forrester for Logan. Brooke Logan Forrester is at one of those soap crossroads where every road comes with a price. Bold and the Beautiful spoiler for the week see her trying to make peace with Katie, Hope begging her to rethink her position at Forrester Creations, and the idea Brooke might have been playing for the wrong team feels less like a maybe and more like a warning. The big question is whether Brooke will finally realize that Logan blood flows through her veins louder than any Forrester title ever could. If she does, the change could bring her into Katie's world and out of Steffi's. This is important because Steffi has never seen Brooke as entirely one of them. The spoilers make it clear that attitude exists. Brooke is married to Ridge, but Steffi doesn't forget that she's a Logan first. That is the mentality that's been hanging over Brooke for a long time and it's starting to poison the ground beneath her feet now. If a woman is continually made to feel tolerated rather than valued, eventually she will question if she belongs somewhere else altogether. That's just the emotional door the new spoilers are swinging open for Brooke. May 4 to 8, 2020. The week begins with Brooke trying to patch things up with Katie. Not just a sisterly thing, this is the first indication that Brooke may be rethinking just where her loyalties lie. Brooke has a peace offering for Katie and is at least trying to make up for it. Although their fight has been longer than either of them wanted, according to the spoiler covers. That tells us the bond between the sisters is still alive, and that's important because the Logan side of the family is exactly where Brooke is most likely to land once she stopped trying to force herself into Forrester's cold, judgmental hierarchy, and the timing couldn't be better for Logan after Eric's success. Kate is looking for a new angle to keep the buzz going, and the spoilers say she is ready to think bigger and move on from the latest fashion web. Hope already seems to be shoved aside at Forrester, and the thought that she could bring her own line to Logan is the sort of thing that can turn a family business into a real power play. Brooke may finally witness Katie and Hope building something new together, and it may finally dawn on her that she has been defending a side that does not fully defend her back. Hope is the one that tips the idea over the edge. In the current promo, she tells Brooke she should be co-CEO with Ridge, not Steffi. And Brooke actually says, "You're right." That's not a throwaway line. That's where Brooke begins testing the walls around her life and finding they might be a lot more fragile than they looked. Basically, Hope is telling her mother that she is not valued enough at Forrester Creations, that she is not living up to her true potential there, and that Ridge and Steffi are not treating her like the powerhouse she is. Brooke heard that said out loud and then she couldn't unhear it. The co-CEO idea is a huge emotional spark because it hits at the deepest wound in Brooke's current life. She has spent so long trying to stay close to Ree's wish list, still surviving Steffi's constant gatekeeping that she might have forgotten she has a whole other identity. Spoilers say that if Brooke tried to make a play for that seat, she would probably fail because Reese always takes Steffi's side on things like this. That would be humiliating, yes, but more than that, it would be clarifying. You have your limits in telling a woman she is second tier because she starts looking for a room where she is first tier player. Brooke was getting close to that, I think. That's when the Logan twist becomes so juicy. This story isn't just about Brooke being mad at Steffi right now. It's about Brooke realizing she has been ignoring the one name that could have given her the most freedom. Brooke may finally realize that she should have embarrassed the Logan identity from the start after ranting about Katie stealing the Logan name for the fashion house. The spoiler article literally states that Brooke may suddenly realize that she belongs with Logan. That's a big change in soap terms, not a betrayal, but a homecoming. And the homecoming makes sound business sense too. Current spoilers suggest that Hope may be heading to Logan to work with Katie, possibly with Dickie Sharp as her head designer. Bill will likely support the plan because he sees dollar signs, and the new house could give the Logan a real shot at competing with Forrester without having to beg for scraps. If Brooke joins them, she brings more than a name. She brings stature, design, credibility, and the kind of social gravity that could make Logan feel like a genuine rival, not a side project. That's the type of move that can flip the power balance in a heartbeat. It's possible because of Katie and Brooke's history. The spoilers also remind us that at heart, the sisters don't want to keep fighting each other and that there is still love between them despite the recent showdowns. That is the emotional impulse behind Brooke's peace offering. She is not just trying to end a feud, she is trying to remember who she is when she is not being told to pick a side in someone else's kingdom. If Katie forgives her and hopes Logan move starts to take shape, Brooke suddenly has a family adjacent landing spot that feels warmer, fairer, and more authentically hers than the polished hostility she keeps getting from Steffi. Ironies are everywhere, and this one may push Brooke toward Logan for the very thing she's been trying to avoid, another rejection from Ridge's side of the world. If she insists on Kosei and gets turned down, that would be exactly the same situation Katie and Hope are already in at Forrester. It's the same old message in a new suit. Your name is welcome when it suits them, but your authority is optional. Brooke is a long-time Forrester icon, but if Rich keeps siding with Steffi, then Logan stops looking like a compromise and starts looking like the only place where she can be herself. Which is why the spoiler wild language about Brooke playing for the wrong team hits so hard. It's not just a family business joke, it's a realization that Brooke has been shrinking herself for a place that doesn't always honor her place in it. The Logan house is made of her blood, her history, and the woman who stood by her through every Brooke marriage and every professional insult. If Brooke does finally decide to jump into that world with Katie and Hope, it won't be because she is acting on impulse, and it will be because she sees the truth that Steffi has been shoving in her face all along. Logan is not a face. This is her stomping ground. That would also send a dramatic ripple effect through the whole Forrester empire. Steffi would definitely see Brooke's change as betrayal. Ridge would probably accuse her of being another bad influence of the Logans, and Katie would probably be happy to have her sister finally walking into the same room instead of from the other side of it. Current spoilers already hint that Hope's move might anger Brooke in the short term if it brings about more family tension, but the bigger twist could be that Brooke herself becomes the woman who makes the biggest move of all, as she begins to empathize with Hope's frustration and Katie's resolve. She may stop defending the old order and begin to build a new one. There's also a very strong emotional logic to Brooke joining Logan at a later point. Brooke has always been a bridge between worlds, but ridges get tired when everyone keeps crossing them and no one builds anything on the other side. She doesn't have to be the one defending herself at Forrester if she teams up with Katie and Hope. She gets to be the person helping to define Logan from the inside. That would be power of a very different kind, and it would be power earned through rejection, reflection, and one very overdue epiphany. That's why the current May 48 spoiler feels so loaded. Brooke's not making one little decision about one little fight. She is on the verge of a life-defining choice. Hope keeps urging her to admit that she deserves better. Katie is giving her an outlet back to family. Steffi leaves the Forrester door ajar. Treats Logan blood like a defect. Ridge is likely to stand with Steffi instead of recognizing Brooke's value. The show is slowly making the case that Logan is where Brooke can finally stop apologizing for herself. And that is the real power of the twist. It wouldn't just be a change of workplace for Brooke to leave Forrester for Logan. It would be a declaration that she is finally stopping asking the Forresters to validate her and started remembering that she already has a home. Now the spoilers aren't saying it's happened yet, but they're laying the groundwork for it. Brooke's peace offering for to Katie, Hope's push for a cozy you seat, the idea of a Logan fashion house with Hope and Dicky, and Brooke's increasing feeling that she is not really valued at Forrester all suggest the same thing. Next possible move would be Logan's. And here's where this stops being a business decision and start feeling like a personal awakening. Because if Brooke really walks away from Forrester, she's not losing power, she's reclaiming it. Because let's be honest, Brooke has spent years trying to fit into a space that keeps reminding her she doesn't fully belong. And at some point, that doesn't look like loyalty anymore, it looks like settling. And I'll say that straight. If Ridge once again chooses Steffi over Brooke in this moment, then Brooke leaving isn't betrayal. It's the only logical move left. But that's what makes this so explosive because if Brooke joins Logan, she doesn't just switch sides. She validates everything Hope has been feeling, and suddenly this isn't one woman walking away, it's a full shift in power. So ask yourself this, if Brooke stands with Katie and Hope, does that finally break the Forrester grip? Or does it push Ridge and Steffi into an even harsher counterattack and even deeper? Is Brooke choosing Logan out of strength or because she is finally tired of fighting a battle she was never meant to win? Because here's what really lingers for me. Brooke has always been the bridge, but what happens when the bridge decides to step away and let both sides face each other without her? That's when things get dangerous, and I have a strong feeling if this move happens, it won't be quiet. It will be triggered by one final moment, one rejection, one line from Ridge or Steffi that Brooke simply cannot ignore anymore. And when that moment hits, she won't hesitate. She will walk, and when she does, Forrester won't just lose Brooke. They will lose the balance that was holding everything together. So keep your eyes on that next conversation because it might not sound dramatic at first, but it could be the exact moment Brooke decides she is done asking for a place and starts building her own.